Hey, welcome everybody to
Adrian Brody.
Boo. Here's it.
When I was like, just when I was like watching him hang out like on the Oscars beforehand, I was like, I really like Adrian Brody. He seems like a nice guy. And then he started talking,
Yeah.
and all that goodwill down the drain.
And here's the funny thing. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the awards, but like a week before they had the SAG awards,
Yeah.
and people were big mad at what's his face, Timothy Chalamet,
Why?
because in his speech people were like, "Oh, he sounds so condescending and so cocky," because he was like, I want to be one of the greats, and I'm inspired by the greats, so this is
Yeah.
the first step. Thank you. And
Yeah.
that's what he said. And people were like, how dare he? And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you fucking serious? You have this motherfucker over here giving us, like, I think it was like a 6-minute speech
Yeah. Too long.
where he fucking rambled
Too
too
long.
much. And they wouldn't even let the people who did, like, sound have 40 seconds, dude.
Yeah.
The fucking, if I was that sound guy, I would be so fucking mad. I'd be like, I walked up to the microphone, the music started playing, I walked off.
Yeah. So this past Oscars, great production in terms of the show.
Sure.
I would say I think last year I thought it was a really, really strong. I think it was a really, really strong body of films.
Yeah, no, this year was kind of like mid.
And while we had a good year of film, I would say like it was a very weak. And when I
Yeah,
say weak, I mean like I didn't really see many of them except for this one, but like I did have interest.
I had no interest.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I had no interest in the Nora. I had zero interest in the Brutalist. If I gave a shit about Bob Dylan, maybe I would have watched A Complete Unknown, but I don't like his music, so
I'm also just boycotting biopics. So
the only one that I gave a fuck about was The Substance, and it's just because I'm a horror girly.
right,
Fucking sue me, man. And it was a good movie. It's a good fucking movie. Anyway, but we're not here talking about any of those bullshit movies. We're talking about the one that really matters.
the one that really.
The one that really matters with special guests. With special guests.
Before we show a special guest, let me read. Oh, there she is.
There he is, the special guest.
Here's my thought. I'll read as the synopsis. Ready?
Yeah, read us a synopsis.
Right. So my version of the synopsis is: what if a cat?
What if a cat? What if cat?
Yes. What if cat?
That's it. I mean, yeah, this
Well,
is
no, the actual thing is almost as stupid. Cat's a solitary animal. That's amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing. Oh,
I,
this movie knows exactly what it is.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I mean, yes. Right. It's not saying like, "Hey man, did you know that a cat is a solitary?" No, this is like
Yeah.
the cat's name is Cat,
Yeah. Yes.
right? Yeah. This movie is Noah's Ark, but just the animals.
Yeah.
So it's already better because there's no people to like make it suck.
Which is funny because the whole premise of Noah's Ark is that the people really sucked.
Yeah. They needed to go, right? It's a very simple movie, right? So you have Cat, he over there. Cat's chilling, and then suddenly water.
Yeah.
Yeah, suddenly a lot of water.
We got problems.
Yeah, this movie, man, this movie came out of nowhere. It's been on my radar for a while. Flow, by the way,
Yeah.
in case you guys all thought we were talking about the Wild Robot, the front runner for the longest time for this
May I
Academy
just
Award.
say, while I just shat on the overall quality of the movies for the Oscars this year, the fact that like Inside Out 2 was a clear third place shows
Clear third place.
at least how animation came to play.
No, here's the thing.
Yeah. Animation's been coming to play.
Animation has been here. I think people are finally giving it more of a chance. People are giving it more of the flowers that it deserves.
Yeah.
I would, in all, this is not even hyperbole. I would have replaced a couple of the Best Picture nominees with at least Flow
Yeah.
and The Wild Robot.
Fair?
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, don't get me. I love Conclave. I really, really do love Conclave.
Yeah, but it's not
It's
not it.
it's not better than Flow, and it's
Yeah.
not better than Wild
Yeah.
Robot. I'm sorry,
It's not it. Conclave is great. But
but it does not have.
what month did we see it in?
I don't know. August, I think. It's like summer, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe
kind of.
September.
I like in a slightly more crowded December. I don't think Conclave makes the cut.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
for sure, no. But anyway, so yeah, this year's animated movies were strange because I mean, I think as far as like the people who would you would be expecting to bring in like hard hitting movies, like
yeah,
your Moana's, like Moana 2 was very like
yeah.
like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Inside Out 2 was great. We respect Inside Out 2 on this
Inside
show.
Out 2 it was great. Memoir of a Snail, I've seen bits and pieces of it.
I
It's
also
all right.
boycott. I boycott.
Wallace and Gromit,
I
listen,
boycott the shit out of Wallace and Gromit.
I
People,
I have zero fucks
I
for
think there's
Wallace and
a big overlap between Wallace and Gromit fans and like gun nuts. I don't know why. And they're all
which
weird.
is which is really funny because Wallace and Gromit, I feel like it's such a British thing,
Yes.
and they are very, very much no gun, thank you.
What's your thing that you're like? What's your one thing that you're pretty conservative about? It
What's
doesn't have
my
to be a policy. It could be like a piece of media.
oh man musicals?
Okay. So Javi's hatred of musicals is like I think conservative people's love of Wallace.
No, no. You know what?
It's the yang to your yin.
No, you know what? I'm gonna be even more honest than musicals.
Yeah.
I fucking hate. I will look at this fucking camera when I say this.
Look at me.
I fucking hate
Yeah.
Oscar bait movies.
There you go. There you go.
And that's the problem, right? Because the Academy Award is always about like what's the most Oscar bait movie. I feel like The Brutalist is one of the most Oscar bait movies, and
It's
I
pretty
fucking
Oscar.
hate that.
So Oscar Beatty, that you know it's going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Today.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm going to remember the substance way more than I'm going to remember anything that
Yeah.
I've seen from The Brutalist.
And I want to see Anora for like other reasons.
For the lulz, I've heard it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we're talking about Flow, which beat out The Wild Robot. It's an original movie. I don't know how familiar you are with like animation, but it was made with Blender.
Or they used to do it on paper.
We used to do it on paper. It's done on a free software that everybody can access to. It's an open source software called Blender. People used to make video games. They used to make short form animation. Clearly, you can make it do long form animation. And I think it's extremely, extremely promising, I think, with just how far like technology has come.
It is. Because I'm going to make a comment that seems like an insult, but it's not.
Sure.
There's moments where this movie looks like a little potato, but it's still pretty.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like it's all about like simple things. Like it's a very simple movie with a very simple art style.
Yeah.
That and what I mean is like the fact that this shit is free.
Yeah.
And anyone has access to it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Like if you are a seriously like just a very passionate filmmaker and you really want to get your art out there, you think you have a great story, like you could make a short film using that, right? So I'm very excited to see kind of how this movie hopefully inspires others to kind of do their own like little animation and then hopefully get funding to then make a full length thing, right?
Over simple concepts.
It's kind of like I hope that this movie does to what like short horror films do to people like your Mike Flanagan's, your Scott Derrickson's, yours what's his name, Philip F. Sandberg.
Okay.
The guy who did Shazam, but he did like Lights Out. He's doing a horror movie coming out soon. But Scott Derrickson did The Black Phone, Sinister.
Right.
So like these people who just like they're like, hey, I want to make movies and I don't have a budget, so I'm gonna make a short film.
Yeah.
And then people see it and they go, fuck, let's give you money.
Right.
If somebody does something like this with animation and then they get funding for like a full length movie, even still using something like Blender, like it's still a viable medium now. I think it's proof of that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this movie? What are your initial when I said, hey Thana, you should watch a movie about Cat?
So this movie, here's my honest reactions to this movie. You know how like people killed themselves because did they kill themselves because or wanted to kill themselves because Pandora didn't exist?
Pandora was too beautiful, and they were like, God, this will never happen.
that's not. I'll never be that, and I'll always make fun of that. But this is as close as it gets. Where I was watching this, I'm like, this is a fucking gorgeous
This
thing. And when you wanted to talk about this on the pod, I was a bit nervous because I'm like, I don't really know what I'd even say about the plot. I was just like, I love the scenery, I love the big fish.
you love whale.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to look at.
I think the reason why I knew this movie was special,
yeah,
was because my beautiful wife, ladies and gentlemen, was in tears
my
for
wife was in
like
tears.
2 hours after this movie ended.
Not for that long, but my wife was in tears.
Dude, she was shattered. This movie brought like a primal sense of like emotion.
Yeah.
But to me and to her, like, right, like, this movie is very emotional. Like, you would not imagine a movie about cat and friends
right
be be like this emotional roller coaster, especially because like it is a hard movie to like recommend to people, right? Because you're like, it's a movie, it's sad, and no one talks.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
And it's made by those damn Europeans.
And it's made by the Lithuanians, right? Latvians? I think it's Latvians, right?
Two.
I think one of the two. But anyway, but you're like, I don't know, man. Like it's you watch this movie and the fact that they're able to convey not just the gorgeous scenery, not just like the genuinely like moving like score of the movie, but like the fact that they're able to convey all these emotions with these animals that still feel like animals. It's simple because like you always run the risk, right? When you make a movie about an animal,
too anthropomorphized.
I mean, think of any movie based on around an animal that isn't like I am not getting. I am not getting this word out. But you're like personified, right? Like you're personifying this animal.
Anthropomorphized.
And I can't. And anthropomorph. I cannot get the word out right now. Arroz. But anyway, like you always have like, think of any movie. Air Bud, right? He's a dog that plays basketball.
Yeah.
Stuart Little, rat that talk and drive car.
Now, granted, the comparisons we're making are completely
they're very unfair.
I don't know, like it's the humans are centric, yeah.
Yeah, but like even if
nothing where it's just like animals being animals.
Okay, but like let's say like Zootopia, right? It's all about animals, but all the animals talk, right? Lion King, animals talk, they dance and they sing.
Yeah.
What was the other movie that I was thinking about that I'm blanking on? But anyway, I mean, like you get it, right? Like Bolt, right? Humans are there, but the dog talks and he's a superhero. Yeah. Like all of these are dogs, but they are actually people.
Yeah.
This is one of the only times. This is I think the only time where you have an animated movie with animals that still feel like animals. Yes.
Yeah.
They do have some kind of human-y quirks, but I do feel like all of those quirks are still
they're ancillary to.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're all quirks that they would have as those animals.
Yeah.
Right? Lemurs like shiny things. Cats like to be kind of alone, and they're kind of playful at times. They don't like water.
Yeah.
Right? The capybara just chills. The dogs want to play around the whole time and just kind of goofy.
Fucking love the capybara.
The capybara is great. So like they still all feel true to themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the fact that they're still then able to convey like such emotion, I wonder if that's something that could help people who are not animal people kind of understand what then like animal people feel about like their cats or their dogs or their pets.
Yeah. Yeah. It
because
humanizes them.
Huh?
Ironically. It humanizes them.
It does. It humanizes them without sacrificing their animalness.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is what you always end up having to do in a movie like your Lion Kings, right? You like them not because they're lions, you like them because they're cool characters.
Yeah.
who happen to be lions, and that's kind of cool. But I do think that, like I said, like this movie like shows that friendship in a way that I just don't think we see.
No.
Like all the animals at first, like they're kind of weary of each other. The dog's a dog. He's gonna try to hang out with anyone. But like I love the idea of this cat who again goes from being this solitary creature, right? To learning that these animals are not going to hurt it,
Mm-hmm.
and that he wants to help them and they want to help him too. It felt very homeward bound,
Mm.
but
Which I
again,
have not seen.
I mean, it's just those, your stereotypical like dogs get lost and they have to like survive and friendship
Yeah.
and peril and all that shit.
Lots of peril.
Lots of peril. This movie is an anxiety. I think this movie is an anxiety attack for anyone who likes animals.
But it's a pretty. I keep.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's gorgeous, and I think the anxiety and the peril that these animals go through like lets you appreciate when you finally have a bit of downtime.
Yeah.
Because like you have the cat being chased around, and like you're already like, oh fuck, this cat better get on that little boat,
Yeah.
right? And then once it's on the boat, like you finally have a little bit of like breathing room where the cat's hanging out with the capybara.
Dude, he falls so many times.
The cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that cat goes through like 6 of its lives.
I was wondering how conscientious of the movie was about that, like, lives thing. Because,
I mean, if you think about it, he only hits the ground once.
yeah.
I think every other time he grabs onto like the sails, that type of shit. I mean,
Several near-death experiences.
several near death experiences. I will say the thing that we were watching and I was like, oh no, this movie's gonna be bad for Katie. It's the scene with the birds, because when they're on the little boat,
It gets its wing.
yeah, they fucking like gang up on him and break its wing.
Yeah, why did the birds do that to the bird?
I mean, I think it's I've heard of like animals like ganging up on another animal who like they feel like went against the group.
Yeah, but
and like punish it, because like I mean they wanted to eat the bird, they wanted to eat the cat,
yeah,
and bird's like, no, we can't eat, friend.
yeah.
And so then they punish him. That I think that is the closest we get to like that feeling of personification, right?
Where the animals actually like have
That feels very
they
human.
work with human qualities.
Yeah, it feels very human to be like, hey, this one person went against like the leader, let's break his kneecap.
Yeah.
Right. That's basically what happened. But I do think that, I mean, as far as like getting Bird to join crew, I think that made sense. I love the lemur in this movie.
Mm.
This goofy ass fucking monkey with his little mirror.
Yeah.
Which again, when that little mirror broke, Katie was in shambles.
I bet.
It's sad seeing him with his little broken mirror.
Correct.
But again, I mean that goes again with the whole like these animals learning and joining, because like that's all he cares about, right? At the beginning, like he wants his shinies. He's collecting his trinkets in his bin. Anytime anybody wants to like play with him, he like puts him back in his bin.
It's a very simple found family film, right?
Yeah.
For the amount of talk we've talked about genres that have like outlived their stay, I would say like found family has definitely not outlived its stay, but the fact that this movie is able to do that with characters who have such little motivation of like, I want my shiny, it's still big.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's so simple that it works here very well, right? Like found family movies, as much as we want to say like that's such a simple trope, I think it also then lends itself to be used in like so many different complex ways. So then like you're not bored with it as easily. There's a lot of room for like making something different. One of the things that I find really interesting about this movie is kind of like the untold story of whatever the fuck happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's no humans,
Yeah, there's big
Um,
statues.
there's a lot of statues, right? There's a lot of cat statues, like some weird ones. Clearly, it's a postmodern world because there's a lot of like very modernish looking buildings.
But then also some classic-y looking buildings.
Some classic looking buildings. There's like sketches of the cat.
Yeah.
So you know that whatever happened that wiped out the humans happened long enough ago that things are overgrown, but not long ago enough that
Those
it
things are really low.
outlives the lifespan of a cat. Right? Because like we know that like this cat had owners. And I mean, if you're looking at the average life of a cat, even like on a good day, maybe 15 to 20 years.
Right.
And this cat looks young, like he's not like hobbling.
He's
He's spry. And then there's also like the whole thing with like the weird whale, because the whale is like
the whale's awesome, but
the whale's cool, but like it's not a normal whale.
no, and I think that's the like this is one of those movies we've talked about movies that like take place in this world and movies that do not. But this is one of those movies that you get little hints early on that like something is different about where this lives. But once that whale breaches, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, holy shit, the genre of this movie has changed.
yeah, but it's also kind of like a. It's not in the outside of the realm of possibility of this being still set in like our human world post something happening,
Fair.
right?
Yeah.
It's not like when you're watching a movie, you're like, oh, this is something like in a different dimension,
Yeah.
right? Or like, oh, this is happening in like a parallel universe. No, this could very well still be like our Earth after like I don't know some nuclear disaster
Yeah.
or whatever. Because this whale is like weird. It's got like frails and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Spiky.
lumpy. It seems friendly because it helps the cat at one point,
Right.
right?
Friendly, but yet also terrifying in its
Well, yeah,
appearance.
because it's fucking massive and
Yeah.
weird looking. But I do think that I don't know. Part of me wants to know more about this, and I think that's kind of a sign of like a good foundation of a movie, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like this movie as is perfect, works fine for me,
And
no
you want to come
complaints.
back.
But
Yep.
yet I'm like, what's up with this whale? What's up with
Yeah.
this flood? Is this something that just happens often? Because like
Because of normal natural cycles.
yeah, like what is happening here? Where did all human go? They're like the whole thing with the bird was also weird, right? I
Right.
don't know like what your take on that, but like when they finally get to this because they're following like a mountain, right? They're going towards like a mountain.
Yep.
When they finally get to the mountain, the bird and the cat go up, and the bird just like fucking ascends to like the
Yeah.
heavens, and you're like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
happening?
That's also when my wife started crying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Katie's like, do any of the animals die? And I'm looking at the thing and like, it says no. And then she's like, the fucking bird just died. And I'm like, I don't know, did it?
It went to heaven. I think that's where this takes place, at least in like
Some sort of fantastical,
I
like,
think that's where this is where it is fantasy. It is a fantasy world because there's some sort of mystical something happening.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like I said, I want to know more. I want to do more research on this movie, like listen to like what the creators have to say about their meaning behind things. Because like that could be one of those things where like the cat, like the bird, maybe like accepts its fate, right? Like it's been out here in the elements, its wing is
Yeah.
broken. This is as far as like his journey goes, and he ascends, right? And the cat's going, but then the cat like remembers his friends, and he's like, "No, I gotta go back to my friends," and he drops.
Well, this is where I'm curious. Like, we still haven't identified and remembered what country this movie comes from. One of the L ones. When I took my
One of
master's,
the L ones, Jesus Christ.
I took one of.
Latvia,
Very good. All right, so not France. But
not France.
but when I took one of my master's classes, the professor who I did not care for was talking about how like interpreting and like looking for theme is a very like English and American way of looking at art. And like if you look at like French criticism, it's more about like what made this pleasurable. right? They
Mm-hmm.
care less so about interpretation. And I don't know what is going on or not going on in Latvia. But I was reminded of that as I was watching this movie, because as I was watching it, like, I'm not even really trying to, like, come up with a message. Honestly, like, I'm straight up just here for
Just for a good time.
ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even a good time, just the ride. And, like, I would let the ride take me where I would. And that's why I'm, like, kind of speechless on all I'm talking about. Because, like, I think, um, a lot of, like, what I can say about this movie really boils down to it's gorgeous and it pulls at the heartstrings.
It's a fucking vibe, for
Yeah.
sure.
And like this morning, I forget if I was able to put this in the chat or not. This morning on the way to work, a couple deer crossed the road, and then a third one was getting ready to cross the road, but it didn't. And then I passed by, and then as I was watching, I was like, "Deer are fucking beautiful, man." And then I was like, I don't know of anybody who thinks that deer are not beautiful. And I feel like this movie you could show to anybody, and they'd be like, "Wow, that was a piece of art. Like that was a beautiful movie."
It genuinely, I think, inspires that of nature.
Yeah.
Which is really hilarious.
Yeah.
When you really think about that statement. Because
Yeah.
it's animation.
Well,
because you're like, this isn't real nature. These aren't real animals, but it gives you that appreciation of nature, of the animals.
Well, I forget what I was watching or what we've been watching recently. That was very, very romantic in its design, but it was like, man, nature is fucking terrifying.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Damn, nature, you scary. This one was romantic in the very positive sense, where I was like, yeah,
what the fuck are you talking about? What movie are you talking about?
I don't remember. Maybe it was even this that like was very romantic, and yeah, it is. It does have some damn nature, you scary. So, like, it's a beautiful and awe-inspiring scary. I would show this to an English class. Just saying.
I mean, I can't disagree on showing this to a class, but I'm also over here thinking like, what the fuck would the class get out of this?
I don't know, man. Read some Walden Pond. Read some Walden. Watch this shit.
Fuck, dude. We saw Conclave in November.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Well, we saw Conclave at separate times.
No, we saw it together, didn't we?
No, I didn't see it with you. I saw it with my other friend.
But I saw it before you, though, didn't I?
No, you saw it after.
Did I?
You did see it after, yeah.
But anyway, back to this.
Yeah.
Was it Twisters?
Twisters is a damn nature you scary movie.
Damn nature you scary indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, but that movie is also America's Back, baby.
America's Back, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this just kind of proves to me that people are not as stupid, I think, as we like to pretend that we are.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean?
Do tell.
Because, like, the fact that this wonderful ass movie comes out and people go, yeah, dude, this movie fucking rules. Let's give it an award.
Yeah.
Because, like,
you could get a Republican to watch this movie.
That was my concern with this when I was like, I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
But will, like, your average person love this? And
I think
clearly it can.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is one of those movies that, as much as I love it, I want to see it again. But then part of me goes, man, I don't want to go through that emotional roller coaster again.
I would sit through that with you, my friend.
And it's also one of those things where like you wanna put this on like a background, and just have it cycle through screenshots of this, because man, there are some gorgeous
shots.
And again, I go back to this. This shit's fucking free. Like, obviously, like, yeah, it costs money because you got to pay people to do shit, right?
Right. But the software.
But the fact that you can, like, any fucking rando can just come in, download some assets, and just make some gorgeous shit. And people fucking don't. And people are using AI.
I'm going to get on and I'm going to go.
People go to ChatGPT and say, hey, man, make me a picture of a big titty anime girl.
That's still fun.
And you have fucking Blender who can make this beautiful looking shit.
Yeah.
Man, dude, we are fucking... You know what? I take it back. Humans are stupid.
Do you think, actually, do you ever regret taking band? Not not that you didn't have a good time, it was a good time, but you're like, man, I could have learned to sing, I could have learned to draw, and instead I learned how to play the clarinet, which was a great time.
Well, that's because that's your mistake number one, Thon. You forget one thing.
Look,
I'm a trumpet player.
whatever.
Trumpet players do not regret being trumpet players because trumpet is fucking cool.
It is cool, but I'm like,
clarinet, however, is not cool. You know why?
It's not cool. It's really not cool.
Squidward plays the clarinet.
I was reminded, but I wish I learned how to draw better.
Yeah, man. I think art is one of those things that I am genuinely jealous of.
Yeah.
I love going to conventions, and one of the things that I love doing, even if I don't buy anything, I love going to the artist alley and just looking at the art people make. This is going to sound very snooty, or very uncultured maybe I would say.
Yeah.
I would much rather go to an artist alley and look at, I don't know, some random person's, like, fan art of, I don't know, a character.
Yeah.
Over going to, like, some bougie-ass fucking museum and looking at, like, the same old shit that we've already seen.
Oh, yeah. So I went to that was getting very personal. I went to a writing group at the local library this past Tuesday. And, like, there was 10 of us there. Most people were retirees. My friend, some people were writing some amazing things.
Yeah.
Like poetry, like nonfiction, starts of books. And I was like, holy shit. Like, okay, now I guess this is kind of coming back to full circle in terms of us not being as stupid as we think we are. Like, your neighbors are doing some fantastic things.
Yeah. No, like seriously, the fact that this is a nothing studio. Like, this is brand new shit, right? This isn't your Disney's. This isn't your DreamWorks. And I'm not saying, like, that those movies are not worth their salt.
Right.
But, like, give these, like, little things a chance. Go to a comic convention and look at what your local artists are doing. I have a lot of posters that are, they might be about, like, pop culture things, right? Your Batmans, your Supermans, your characters.
But they were done by, like,
they're done by, like, these, like, small creators who, like, have a really great talent that I just don't.
Yeah.
And that, I kind of, like you said, with writing, we always want to go back, and it still baffles me. I looked at a friend's syllabus, and they were talking about, like, shit that they're teaching in their middle school class. And, like, it's shit that I read. And then, like, you were telling me that in the last 15, 20 years, you haven't found a new fucking book to teach? You're still teaching the fucking Crucible?
Do you know what we teach? Do you know what we teach in our 8th grade class?
The fucking Crucible?
No. The Crucible is great, by the way. You shut the fuck up.
I'm not saying it's not! But you're telling me that in the last 20 years, you haven't found a new fucking book.
It was interesting. In my 7th grade class, we read all very contemporary shit, except, like, The Giver, which is, like, relatively contemporary, but, you know, The Giver's old. I fucking hate The Giver, by the way. I hate The Giver. But in my 8th grade class, we teach The Outsiders and fucking Night. Like, the quintessential 8th grade books right there. And you know what? I'm shocked about this. My love for The Outsiders has, like, plummeted after this.
Find a new book.
Yeah, bigger call than just me, my friend.
I know.
Bigger call than just me.
But again, like, as a culture,
how did we get here from Cat?
It's the whole idea of, like, these like small creators. We got into the discussion of, like, the art behind the movie, right?
Yeah. Why you shouldn't play the clarinet.
Why you shouldn't play the clarinet. Instead, yeah, man, maybe less clarinet and more pick up a fucking pencil and draw, man. Yeah. Or if you're gonna play an instrument, play something that's cool, like drums and trumpet and guitar.
But back to film. There is original stuff being made.
Yeah.
Right? And people need to support it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that something so simple can make pretty much everybody who watches it.
Bring joy.
I want to find, because I'm looking at the Rotten Tomatoes stats right now.
The 4 people that gave this a rotten?
I want to interview them.
Dude, fuck those people. How?
I just want to say, what about this? doesn't work.
I can almost get, and I'm not about to do this because I know like we gotta wrap this up, but I would not be surprised if those people were like, I don't know, man, I just couldn't get invested because the animals didn't talk.
Yeah, I'll poop on them.
You're gonna do what cats should do, poop on them.
Yeah. I think I get the only other movie I can think of where the animals is animals, and it's still not all about the animals, but I would say Fantasia. That's what I would most likely. They're very different. They're still very different.
Those are shorts and
exactly
and
very different. But yeah, but it's similar in the sense that you're in Fantasia because you're in there for the ride.
I guess I don't know that I would count Fantasia.
Hey man, those whales be wailing.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to us blabber on about a wonderful movie. Man, this movie's... I fucking love this movie.
Words don't do it justice.
This might be... Like, if I'm talking about, like, a film...
Yeah.
This might be my film of 2024. I love Long Legs. Long Legs is my 2024 movie.
That's a movie. It's a movie.
But, man, dude, this is you know that meme of Martin Scorsese. Is this Martin Scorsese?
I think
he's like cinema. That's what this should be.
Yes.
This feels like art.
It is.
It's fucking cinema. It's a meme. It's a joke, but it's fucking true, man. I don't know. No cast. Look at that. No cast.
Don't need no damn cast.
All you need is cat go meow.
No cast, save money.
No cast, save money. Yeah, look at that. You're not. We're gonna do pay this cat kibble. Hey, thank you so much for listening to us. We will be back soon. We gotta finish our big prediction. We're gonna be watching Lord of the Rings, I think, this weekend, and then I might make Katie rewatch Terrifier 3 with me.
Very nice.
So then we're good to go because that's gonna be an endeavor.
Oh yes.
All right, everybody. Until next time, he has been not Cat. He has been Thano.
He has been not Capybara. He has been Javier.
And this has been the Cine-Scoots Movie Show. Bye, everybody.
Bye.